Get a chance to go through quick quiz 4. Any questions there?
I did have a question on number 1, like
Yeah.
at the bottom, like number 3,
Mm-hmm.
the case of number. I think I'm looking at on my sheet of all the endings. I'm like, where is that ending?
Which one are you looking at?
No, wait,
Huioi?
this is 3. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Okay. By now you should have these declensions, especially for masculine and feminine, down. As, u, oi, so as, u, oi, on, ois, us. And then feminine, a, ace, a, ain, I, on, isas. Even if you can't say those right away, you should be able to see them and recognize them right now, because now we're going to start playing with them. Let's look at this sentence. Did anyone try these translations? U legosin huioi theou logos thanatou kuriois kai doulois. This is all review, nothing new yet. Anyone want to give a stab at that? You got this word legusin.
They don't.
They don't. Yeah. So
They don't say.
Yeah. Not just the sons, but yeah. So the sons of God, they don't say, or the sons of God don't say or don't speak. Logos, words, exactly plural, because us, oi, on, ois, us. Logos, thanatou. Not just death, but right. So the sons of God do not speak words of death. What's this? Kuriois kai doulois. Right, so that ois ending, what is that? Plural what? Oi, on, ois, us. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. So it's 2 masters and slaves. So the sons of God do not speak words of death to masters and slaves. Yeah. All right, what about this next one? Tekna urdanu. Yeah, exactly. Children, because that's a plural. If it's singular, that would have been teknon, right? That's a neuter noun. So tekna urdanu, children of heaven. U didaskusin.
Teach.
Yeah, they don't teach. Erga namu, works of the law. Allah, but erga aletheos. Right? So the children of heaven do not teach works of the law, but works of truth. Great. Let's get going. So now our readings are going to get a lot more colorful, literally, because we're going to introduce adjectives into our sentences. And adjectives are all about describing things. So there's a lot more nuance that we're going to get across. Let's go over our new vocabulary just real quick, because we're going to be working with these in the sentences. We're on page 22 of Croy. So, agathos, and you see where I'm at right now? At the top of page 22? Agathos. Think of this as, who's ever read Murder on the Orient Express? By who? Agatha Christie. She is a good author.
Yes.
Agatha Christie is a good author. So, agathos means good or noble. Agathos. All right. Hagios. Do you know what hagiography is? It's the study of saints. So, hagios is the word for holy. Yeah. Gar. Gar means for, and it means for in this way. I didn't run the race, for I was tired. Or I was hungry, for I did not eat. That's how this word gar is being used. All right. Dikaios. I don't have a new active for that. Just means righteous. Dikaios. Eschatos. Have you ever heard this word eschatology or eschaton? What does that mean? Yeah. Like the end days. Yeah, the eschaton is the final day. So eschatos means last. Kakos. So everybody put your hand out like this and go kakos. Kakos. put your thumb up and go kalos. Kalos. Kakos. Right, so we've got good and bad. Yes.
She keeps saying kalista, so is that just like a very good? Is that how you make an adjective to be like a very?
She says what?
Kalista at the end. Like she does it like right. She says like kalista. So does that
Good question.
very good?
I don't know if it means very good.
Okay.
It might mean correct.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in some languages, yeah, you can make something like very just by changing the end of that.
Mhm.
I feel like.
It's possible. I'd have to see it in writing. I don't know exactly. But kalos, you'll hear that sometimes if someone says something correct. You'll say kalos. It means good, wonderful. All right, so kakos is bad. Kalos, good. Or beautiful. And kakos can also mean ugly or evil. So everybody put your hands out like this and go lambano. That means I take or I receive. Lambano.
What's the reference to epilepsy there?
It's a good question. I don't know. This is just my guess. So epi means on top, and lambano means to receive. So epilepsy would mean to receive from atop, receive on high.
Oh,
I'm guessing, this is just my guess, that epilepsy, they were assuming that if someone was having an epileptic seizure, they were receiving something from on high. That would be,
Yeah, like the book The Spirit
Yeah.
touches you and you fall down. It's still in some cultures where you believe it's a spiritual.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily.
oh.
So that's my guess, just by the etymology here. But lambano means receive. Okay, I'm going to teach you another word that isn't in this list right now, because I think they go together. So mikros. Everyone go like this. Mikros. Yeah, just small.
Small.
And macros. Big. Yeah, mikros, macros. And so you should think of, micron or macroeconomics. So you've probably seen these words before. Necros means dead. So think of necromancy, magic, death, whatever. Necros. Okay. Pistos, that means faithful. Yeah. Poneros means wicked or evil. And I always think of like this horse, and he's kind of glaring, and he's looking around, and he just has really shifty eyes, and he's suspicious. He's a bad horse. Or he's a bad pony. Poneros is a wicked, evil, bad pony. Poneros. Hopefully this helps. If it doesn't, use your own hearing devices. Protos means first. Yeah, so togramma alpha protos estin. Alpha?
First letter.
Yeah, togramma alpha protos estin. Togramma omega eschatos estin.
Yeah.
Togramma alpha protos estin. Togramma omega eschatos estin. Okay. All right, so you'll start seeing these words when you hear Jesus talking about being the first and the last.
Words for evil.
Yeah, so Poneros, think of that more like wicked, evil, demonic, satanic. And kakos meaning, I hurt something's bad, or ugly. There's maybe a nuance here that that these brief glosses are not capturing. Yeah. In English, we have plenty of words that mean multiple things as well.
Paneros.
Yeah, just think of it wicked. Paneros more like wicked, malicious. Yeah, kakos is just generic bad. All right, so I'm going to start using this word syntax. Syntax is the arrangement of words and phrases to create a well-formed sentence in a language. So Al threw the ball to Stephanie. That is good, correct English syntax. Say Al to Stephanie, the ball threw. You could probably parse out what I mean when I say that, but that's bad English syntax. Okay? So that'll be important in a second. So syntax is just the order that words are in to convey a meaning. Well, what is an adjective? So an adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun. For example, the bad apple. Bad is your adjective. Or the servant is faithful. That is also an adjective, even though we're using it in a different way. All right, so let's talk about forms and syntax of the definite article. You have already seen this before. But at this point, you should be able to maybe not reproduce this chart that you see these forms of the definite article on, but you should be able to recognize them. So we've got the masculine, feminine, neuter for each one of the cases in the singular and the plural. Right? This shouldn't be new. Is anyone still confused as to what this is, why they look like the way they do? Should make sense. Bless you. All right. You'll start seeing these articles in some instances where you expect to see them and in some instances where you don't. And that's all just on the part of the biblical author. So biblical Greek sometimes uses the definite article with proper names. Sometimes you'll see ha Jesus, and we just translate it as Jesus, not the Jesus. And sometimes you'll just see Jesus. We don't translate that as a Jesus. We just say Jesus. Same thing with Moses, which is Moses. Sometimes it's ha Moses, sometimes just Moses. You might have noticed there's this little umlau looking thing over here on the upsilon. That's called a diaresis. That's a little technical. What that is doing is it's splitting these vowels so that the author makes sure that you're pronouncing them different. It's Moses. So that diaresis, those two dots, they're splitting those vowels.
There's 3 syllables.
Yeah, Moses. Yeah. You don't really need to know that technically what that's called, but if you're curious what that is, that's what it's doing. Abstract nouns, such as love and truth, often have the definite article present. Abstract meaning an object, something, a noun that's not a concrete object. So this thermos, that's a concrete noun, but truth is not something I can grab and show you. That's an abstract noun. Right, yeah. Just something immaterial. And so a lot of times these abstract nouns, like love or truth, you will see the definite article being used. So let's look at these two examples. I've got bi over here. Ha logos aletheos. Remember, so what aletheos, what case is that in? Yeah, on. So aletheos, the word of truth. What about halogos tes aletheos? I've got that tes in there. Still the word of truth, right? So these definite articles sometimes showing up, sometimes they're not. It's not the word of the truth, it's just the word of truth. And the definite article is your best friend. And the reason is, check out this word aletheos here, this ending alpha sigma. You're going to come across a lot of nouns that sometimes decline very strangely or are very irregular. You see a lot of proper names that fall into this category. And you might be confused as to what they are. But if that article is present, which they often are, you can look at this and this is always reliable. The article will always look like this, even if the word it's modifying might not. Right? So let's say I looked at aletheos and I was like, what is that? I've got tes here. I know that's genitive, singular. So this is the word of truth. All right? So let's get into the forms of the adjectives. Now on page 23 of Croy, if you want to follow along. Let's take a look at this word kalos. So this is the masculine nominative singular form of kalos, and that's, again, known as the lexical form. And that means that if you're looking up a word in a dictionary or a lexicon, this is the form that you're going to see it in, this masculine nominative singular. Okay? And these adjectives are going to be in the same person, gender, number, and case. They're as the word that they are modifying. So let's say I've got the word anthropos in the nominative, and I want to say, what does anthropos mean? So man or person, right? And I want to say the good man, and I'm in the nominative singular masculine here. It's going to be kalos. Kalos anthropos. And so you might notice that kalos anthropos, it rhymes. So Greek has this sort of lyrical quality to it, and as the authors are trying to imbue a little bit of poetry into their writing so that it hits your ear in a very pleasing way, they start playing with these endings. And we might change word order in order to make a poem sound good. The biblical authors might change the case endings to make the words lyrical. So you say kalos anthropos, and as that hits your eardrum, you hear that ending os, and you know that those words are now one package. They go together. And the same thing, if it was anthropu, of the good man, we'd say anthropu kalu, or anthropo kalo, anthropon kalon, etc. And so that's in the masculine. In the feminine, it's doing the same thing. These feminine endings, which you should be familiar now with just your use of the definite article and memorizing those paradigms, these endings are all the same. Same thing over here with our plurals. Now, if you are particularly astute and you've been paying attention to the accents, you might have noticed that the accents look a little bit different than what you would have expected. That is because, remember, there are rules that are governing how accents are placed. But again, you do not need to know those rules in order to read Greek. If you want to produce it and you want to write Greek, yeah, you got to learn how to write accents. But in order to read it, you can ignore those rules. So don't let the changing of the accents trip you up. All right, I'll pause there. Any questions? It'll always be in the same case. Now, that case ending, as we're going to see in a moment, may look a little bit different, but it's always going to be in the same case. Yeah. If a nominative noun will have a nominative adjective 100% of the time. Yeah.
But it seems self-explanatory, like the nouns, like they stay in one case, whether it's masculine, feminine, neuter in general. But the adjectives, they can change to match the noun. So it can be masculine, feminine, or neuter.
Yeah. If I say the good man and I'm in the nominative case, my adjective's going to be nominative. If I say of the good man, they're both going to be in the genitive. The adjective is going to have the same case ending as the word it modifies. Yeah, it's in the same
gender.
The same gender, yeah.
Oh, it's switched.
Yeah.
Gender too.
Right, yeah. I mean, English is kind of an aberration. We don't have gendered words in English, but you learn any of the Romance languages, French, Latin, Spanish. It's all. Greek is not Romance, but they do the same thing. And Hebrew does the same thing, which is Semitic. Has nothing to do with Romance languages, but everybody else is on the same page except for us who speak Americanese. We have our own thing going on. Okay, so let's go on. Remember, syntax, what is that?
Word order.
Word order, right. So let's talk about the syntax of the adjectives. I've got a couple examples that I've pulled out and put on the screen, but if we follow along on page 23 through 25, specifically 24 and 25 is where the examples are. I have some more examples to help out. But let's look at the screen first. There are three basic positions that you can put your adjectives in, three basic syntactical orders in order to make these adjectives convey some kind of meaning. So as I've been talking about what an adjective is, I've been using this attributive position. Attributive means that the adjective attributes some quality to the noun. It has some attribute. So, ha agathos doulos, right? So it's nominative. I've got os here, and it's singular. Ha agathos doulos, literally, the good slave. And so it's attributive because the attribute is good, and that attribute is being assigned to this word doulos, which means slave, the good slave. There may be a different order that you see it in as well. Ha doulos, ha agathos, the slave, the good. Again, we translate that as the good slave, but if you want to be like super literal in your word order, what they're saying is the slave, the good one. But ha doulos, ha agathos, the slave, the good one, means the good slave. So ha agathos doulos or ha doulos ha agathos mean the exact same thing, and that is the attributive position. Everybody with me so far? So let's look at page 24 and see a couple other examples. So I read ha'agathos doulos, or hadoulos ha'agathos, the good slave or the slave, the good one, both attributive. Who wants to read that second one? Yeah, go ahead.
The word for the word righteous is like a deacon or a deaconess.
Oh yeah. So I think that the didasco is the root actually in deacon, like a teacher.
Yeah.
But if that helps, whatever helps, go for it. Yeah. Okay, so the second one here on page 24, the second sentence in the attributive category. Who wants to read that? This in blue. This includes one of our new words. Yeah, go for it.
E pistue cardia, or e cardia e piste.
Can you go ahead and then translate that?
Sure. The faithful heart, and the heart, the faithful one.
Right. So what's going on here? Look, piste, it's got that eta ending, so we know that that's the nominative feminine singular, and then cardia, it's got that alpha ending. So those letters aren't the same. We've got an eta in one, and we've got an alpha in the other. However, those are both feminine singular nominative. So they may look a little bit different, but they are still in the same case. Most of the time, they're going to look the same, but sometimes they don't. All right, who wants to try the next one? We've got a new word in here as well. What does proton mean?
First.
First. Okay, so who wants to read that word? This sentence. I'll go ahead and read it. Ta proton technon, the first child, or ta technon, ta proton, the child, the first one, the first child. A little more complicated, this fourth sentence. Blepo, remember I see, blepo ton oikon. So this is no longer in the nominative. What is that in? Accusative. Yep. I see, what do I see? The house. Blepo ton oikon, ton espeton. This is still attributive position. I see the house, the last one, or I see the last house. Basileia, what is that? Kingdom. Basileia Calais, but it's not the kingdom, because there's no definite article. So it's indefinite, a kingdom. A kingdom, Basileia Calais eke namus calus. Has good laws. A good kingdom has good laws. That sounds like that could be a proverb, I suppose. Oh, my computer keeps falling asleep. Hopefully it didn't stop recording. Okay. Hopefully that didn't mess anything up. All right. Now let's talk about the predicate position. So that's all attributive. Predicate asserts something about the noun. So rather than attributing some quality, I assert something about the noun. So a little bit different word order, a little bit different meaning. So instead of saying, hedikeia adelphe, that would be the righteous sister, I say, he adelphe dikeia. I have swapped the noun and the adjective, and now that changes the meaning. He adelphe dikeia means the sister is righteous. So rather than saying the righteous sister, I'm saying the sister is righteous. And with these little packets of information where I just have three words here, the definite article, the adjective, and the noun, it may look a little bit confusing, but as you see these in sentences, it'll be quite clear what they're trying to say, right? Rather than just saying the righteous sister, it's the sister is righteous. Context clues will make it make sense. But hedelphe dikeia, the sister is righteous. Or dikeia he adelphe. So literally, righteous is the sister. That's perfectly good Greek syntax, but that's not good English syntax. English syntax is the sister is righteous. If you say righteous is the sister, you're trying to sound pompous and King Jamesian or something. But yeah, dikeia he adelphe, the sister is righteous. So let's look at a couple of those examples. I'm on the bottom of page 24. He adelphe dikeia, that's what I just read, or dikeia he adelphe, the sister is righteous. So very similar. Who wants to try the next one?
Oh, kurios, agios. or hagios ho Kyrios.
And that means, right, the Lord is holy, or holy is the Lord. If you want to sound King Jamesian, or just say the Lord is holy, which is what modern English is all agreed sounds better. Ta ergon kakon, so the work is bad, or kakon ta ergon, bad is the work, or the work is bad, or is this in translation here, the work is evil. Ta teknon nekron, the child is dead, or nekron ta teknon, dead is the child, or the child is dead. These are really morbid examples, but these are all biblical words. All right, any questions there? If you're thinking, oh no, I'm never going to be able to memorize that if it's definite article, noun, adjective, that's predicate, or definite article, adjective, noun, that's attributive, don't get tied up in these technical labels, right? You'll keep seeing these sentences over and over again, you'll see them in context, and you'll understand what it means. Yeah.
Do they actually do then the word
Esteem?
to like reduce that?
Sometimes. Yes, sometimes. But this word esteem to be is redundant. Like you can get the meaning across without it. And Greek is all about streamlining. And so if they don't have to use the word to be, then it probably won't be there. But it might be there. Yeah. A lot of times when you're reading through the New Testament and you see some kind of note in the apparatus that say some manuscripts say this, some manuscripts say this, it's usually inclusion or omission of words that are redundant. All right, substantive. This is another use, not necessarily a position like these other two, but more of a way to use these words. So when I say the poor, what am I talking about?
People that are poor.
People that are poor, yeah. But I never said people. I just used this adjective poor, the poor. I'm using this word poor in a substantive way, as in this word poor means a collection of people who are poor. So you do this all the time in English without thinking about it. But if we take this adjective and we treat it like a noun, all of a sudden it's substantive. So this first example here, hoi pistoi, just means the faithful people or the faithful ones. But specifically pistoi, this is in masculine. So that could be a group of faithful men and women. But if I have hai pistai, it still means the faithful ones, but it's specifically women. So if it's feminine and it's referring to a group of people, all of the people are feminine. If it's a mix and it's in the masculine, it's either a group of just men or a group of men and women. Yeah.
So many believers, since it's from the same word as to believe.
Sure.
Is it separate? Okay.
Yeah, the faithful, the believers. Like I said several times in this course so far, once you start translating it into English, you're making some kind of conceptual leap. And when the biblical author says hopistoi, you can understand that to mean the believers or the faithful. Yeah, there's the Greek meaning, and then there's what we try to shoehorn it into English. And sometimes what it says in English is different than what the Greek says. Yeah. Same thing. Hoi hagioi, the holy ones. Hapaneras, the evil one. This is why if you've ever heard the Lord's Prayer and it says, and deliver us from evil, or deliver us from the evil one, it's because it's using the substantive use of this word paneras, the evil or the evil one. Tadikaion, that which is right, that which is just. What about this sentence? Genoskamen kalon kai kakon. Yeah, we know genosko. We know good and we know evil. We know good and we know bad. All right, so that is everything from the book that I want to cover. Any questions on any of that so far? Seems pretty straightforward. Now that you've added these adjectives, your sentences are just going to become so much more interesting because we can add all this color now. So as we progress through more and more chapters, we're going to have be introducing now adjectives along with new nouns and verbs. So let's go ahead and move over to Mark Zhang's reader and see if we can start reading through lesson 5. Give everyone a minute to pull that out. Does anybody feel comfortable or courageous, wants to take a stab at it right away? I forgot my little red pen that I used to write on my computer, so I won't be able to take notes. But what's been happening so far in the narrative? You've been reading the first couple chapters. We got the story of Philemon in Onesimus, and then all of a sudden this character Paul's popping in. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and get started. Akue Hophilemon. What does that mean? Philemon hears, and then the word that he's going to hear is going to be in the genitive because you hear of a word. You hear of a word. So Akue Hophilemon tes kales phones anthropou. Yeah, the good noise or the good sounds, phones here. Remember, telephone. That's just you've got a phone. That means voice. That means sound. But it's not just the good sound or the good voice. I guess you could also translate it as. But it's the voice. What's this? The one I've highlighted here. It's genitive singular. Of the man. So akue hophilemon tes kales phones anthropou. So you kind of hear that rhythm, that rhyming quality that Greek has. Akue hophilemon tes kales phones anthropou. Philemon hears of the good voice of the man. Tis estin haanthropos. Who is this guy? Who is this man? Remember, we've got this semicolon here, which in Greek is a question mark. Who is this guy? Paulus estin. It's Paul. Hodephilemon blepe. Now, what's this word de doing? Yeah, exactly. So your book is going to translate it as but or and, but it's this continuation of this thought that he hears of the man. Who is this man? It's Paulus, and this is what happens next. So in English, you may just insert and or but it's post-positive, meaning it's always going to come after this article, ha, which modifies or is the article for this word Philemon. And Philemon, Belepe, sees, so, akue ho Philemon tes kales phones anthropou, tis estin ho anthropos, Paulus estin, ho de Philemon Belepe, and Philemon sees ton hagion anthropon. So what position is this adjective here? Now remember, we've got attributive, we've got predicate, and we have substantive. Attributive, right. Why is that?
Describe me.
Yeah, and because of the word order. Ton hagion anthropon, the holy man. Hodephilemon belepe ton hagion anthropon. Kai akue ton logon ton hagion. So we've got this word. Let's break it down. Remember, what is agathos?
Good.
Yeah, because Agatha Christie is a good author, and so it means good, it means beautiful. But I've got this article here, tone agathon. So what use of this adjective is it?
Still attribute.
So yeah, tone, logon, tone, agathon. The words, the good ones, the good words. Remember, logos, it doesn't necessarily mean word, even though we translate it as word, and a word can be a logos, but logos is just that expression of what you've got going on up here between your ears. It could be song, art, words, but it doesn't typically mean a singular word like a noun or a verb. It's usually a collection of words, not just a sentence. It could be a paragraph. If I were to start a sermon and I were to say, "Hear my word," or "Hear the word of the Lord," I'm not talking about just a name. I'm not just talking about a sentence. I'm talking about this whole package of information that I'm giving you. And it's conveying what's going on in my mind. It's my logos. So you can translate it as word, but it has a much more nuanced meaning. A speech would be a logos. Yeah, a single word is chrema. I don't know if we've had that yet.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's just one word. Yeah. Logos is very flexible. It can mean a lot of things, all related to speech and communicating. So the hodephilemon belepe ton hagion anthropon. What does that mean? Philemon sees the holy man and hears, the good words. Yeah, in your head you can say the words, the good ones, but you would say the good words. Kai lege to anthropo, and says to the man. Remember, whenever you see this Yoda subscript here, that's that small tick mark. That's a Yoda subscript that is always in the dative. Yeah, 10 times out of 10. So, what's that?
Is that pronounced different?
Nope. Does not pronounce different. To anthropo.
So if there wasn't the Yoda, you pronounce it the same way.
Yep. Exactly. The Yoda subscript does not change the pronunciation. Yeah. So he says, and he says to the man, what does he say? Thele gar genoskein ti lege. Yeah. And he speaks to the man for, so it's post-positive, meaning it's appearing after that first word. In the same way de appear, that's post-positive, it appears after the first word. For he desires, right, why is it to know? Ain, right, it's infinitive. For he desires to know T, so T, remember, what? He desires to know what he says, or what he is saying. So, what does he say? Philemon, ti leges. What are you saying? Right, ace, what is that?
Singular.
You, singular, right. What are you saying? Paulos, who wants to give a stab at this one? Line 10.
Go. To. Theo.
Agathu theou, right?
Theles. In nos gain tone. Logon. Taste. Yes.
And then you kind of inflect your voice at the end because it's a question. Te salathios? Like a, kind of imagine a dog going like this, huh? So Paulos. Lego ton logon to agathu theou. I'm speaking, or I say, the word, or it's singular there, the word of, and this is what position for this adjective here? So it's the case is genitive, but what's the position of this adjective? The good God.
Attributive.
Right. Yeah, so if it's just attaching itself, the good God, that's attributive. If I were to put it afterwards, I'd say the God is good. That's the predicate position. But the good God. So I'm speaking the word of the good God. Theles genoskein. You want to know as well? Theles genoskein ton logon tesaletheos. You want to know the word of truth? Yeah, because it's genitive here. Do you want to know the word of truth? And Philemon's going to get pretty snarky here. Philemon. Ts in Leithea. What is truth? T ekes legain. Yeah, what do you have to say? Ego, kai ho curios. I and the master, ton dulon.
Of the slave.
Yeah, I and, or excuse me, I think he translates this differently. Let me just double check. Yeah, I just want to double check before yeah, I and the master of slaves. Yeah, because it's plural. I and the master of slaves. So he's talking about two people, himself and the master. Ekomen, oikus. We have houses. Kai dulus.
Servant.
Kai tekna. Blepes ton kalon oikon hemon. We've got this adjective here, kalon. What position is that in? Ton, kalon, oikon. Attributive, yeah. So the good house of us, of ours, our. Right, so Philemon. Ts in Leithia, what is truth? Tiekes the gain, what do you have to say? Ego, kai ho curios to dulon, myself and the master of slaves, ekomen oikus kai dulus kai tekna, we have houses and slaves and children. And blepes ton kalon oikon hemon, do you see our good house? And so Paulos is going to say, ha anthrope. What is this ending here?
Person?
Yeah.
Oh,
What case? Vocative, right? Yeah. So, anthrope. So he's kind of calling out to him. It's the vocative sense. Ha anthrope, ha oikos su ukalos. Your house is not good. So this is also a position right here. We've got kalos, oikos. What is this position? Ha oikos kalos. Predicate, exactly. So it's kind of it's split a little bit. We've got ha oikos su, so that's one packet. Your house, and we've got this negative. We've got this negation here. U kalos. Your house is not good. So that's the predicate position. Alahotheos tes zoes, but the God of life, kai tes aletheos,
True.
Good truth.
no, not good truth. So look at these endings. We've got genitive here, tes aletheos. So we've got the God of life and of truth, kalos. Right, so look at theos, we've got a nominative ending here, and kalos down here, nominative ending. This is a predicate position of this adjective, but there's a whole lot of words that are happening in between. Yeah, so if this was, so kalos here does not match this ending, not just because this is masculine, this is feminine, but this is genitive, tes aletheos, and kalos is nominative. So they have nothing to do with each other.
So Colossus describing fields.
Theos, right. So let's put it all together. Paulos, ha anthrope. Oh man. Ha oikasu ukalos. Your house is not good. Ala ho theos, tes zoes kai tes aletheos, kalos. If you were to be speaking it, that would be the rhythm. So that's sort of a parenthetical statement. You might have drawn parentheses around tes zoes kai tes aletheos. But God, we've got this article here. You could translate that, but the God, or you could just say, but God. Alahotheos, tes zoes kai tes aletheos, kalos. But God but the God of life and of truth is good.
In English, you would do like the whole comma after theos and a comma after yes, but here you don't do commas because we're Korean.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Would say the good God.
No, because it's predicate position. Ha theos kalos. If it was ha kalos theos, that's attributive. The good God. Or ha kalos ha theos is, or excuse me, ha theos ha kalos, the God, the good one. But we don't have that here. We have ha theos kalos, but God is good. Predicate position. So Paulos, ha anthropoi, ha oikos su u kalos, Allah, ha theos, tesois ka tesaletheos, kalos. You might want kalos estine, which you might see that in the biblical text, but it's just kalos. Philemon, any questions there? All right, Philemon. T? What? Tis estin ho theos ho kalos.
Who's this good?
Yeah, who is this God, the good one? Or who is this good God? Or who is this beautiful God? Same sense. Ekomen theus tes ges, kai tes thalases, kai tu thanatou. Wants to give a try there. Not the God. Yeah, you're correct, but it's, what is this us ending here? Os u o on oi on ois us.
Plural.
Yeah, plural. But we have gods. Tes ges. Of the earth or of earth. Kai tes thalases. See, kai tu thanatou. And of death. And this is all genitive. We have gods of earth, or we have gods of land, and of sea, and of death. Ala ugenoskomen, but we don't know ton theon tesoes kai tesolethios.
Like the truth.
Yeah, but we don't know. Got amen right here, so that's a third person plural. But we don't, or excuse me, first person plural. But we don't know the God of life and of truth. So remember, I said that these adjectives that are, if I have words that are going to take a definite article, so these are nouns, life and truth, zoe, aletheia. If they're abstract nouns, right, non-material, then you're often going to see this definite article. Tes zoes, of life, kai tes aletheios, and of truth. All right, let's bring it home. Paulus says, hoi theoi su, your gods, uk esin theoi. Your gods are not gods. Ala erga ton paneron anthropon. But the works, erga, not ergon, but it's plural, erga, of evil men. That's attributive. Ton paneron anthropon. Hothoi su paneroi. Hoi theoi su. What's that? Your gods, paneroi, are evil. Right, so this is not attributive. This is predicate. Hoi theoi su paneroi. Your gods are wicked. Your gods are evil. Ala hotheos mu dikaios. Yeah, but my God, dikaios. Righteous, exactly. But my God is righteous, or my God is just. Hogortheos mu thele ekein tas kardias ton anthropon. For theos mu, my God, thele ekein, desires to have tas kardias ton anthropon, the hearts of men, right? Paul, hotheoi su uk esin theoi ala erga ton poneron anthropon. Your gods are not gods, but works of evil men. Hotheoi su paneroi ala hotheas mudikaias. Your God is wicked, ala hotheas mudikaias, but my God is righteous. Why? Hogatheos mu thele ekein taskadias ton anthropon. For my God desires to have the hearts of men. And that's the end of, oh, wait, we got 2 more sentences actually. Phidemon. U lembano ton logon su. Lambano, remember?
Don't receive.
Don't receive.
I don't receive ton logon su, your word. Or you can do sort of this derivative sense. I'm not listening to you. I'm not receiving your word. I don't receive your word. Leges kakus logus. You're speaking, remember, kakos. Kalos? Kakos. You're speaking bad words. Thelo blepein ton theon su.
See.
Thelo, desire, blepein ton theon su. I desire to see your God. And here's a sentence you've read a whole bunch of times. Palos. Uk estin hora blepein. Ala hopistuein te kale aletheia. The good truth. Yeah. So it's not time to see, but it is time to believe in the good truth. All right.